Ayo, what's up guys? People have been asking me what I think about the new Drakes, Chemtech Drake and Hextech Drake, and I'm just quickly gonna give my thoughts on the two Drakes. So first I started with Chemtech Drake. So the Chemtech Drake buff gives 5% bonus damage per stack against enemies with more current HP than you. And I like the base Drake, I think it's fine. I like the fact that we're changing it up a little bit. The Chemtech Soul, on the other hand, I don't like because it changes too much of the dynamics of team fights. And no matter what role you have in a team fight, it is pretty much going to be different for you because now you have that second life. So that means if you're playing an assassin, you have to think about, is it really worth it to kill the enemy carry? Because the enemy carry is then going to respawn. And then you could essentially maybe get CC'd by the rest of that team, and then the enemy carry respawns and then kills you, and that could maybe not be worth in some situations. And same thing goes for tanks. Like, should you kill the tanks first and try to kite them maybe? But then they will respawn again, and then they can again CC you while their backline is still up. So no matter what role you have in a team fight, it completely changes the way that team fights will be played. And it just has too big of an impact on those team fights. So I don't really like this change because it's gonna be really weird to play team fights when this soul is on any team essentially. So yeah, it just changes it too much, and it will take a long time and many Chemtech souls that you have to play against in order to figure out how exactly your new role essentially, but your role is essentially the same in team fights, but maybe you have to play the team fight completely different when you play against Chemtech soul compared to any other soul in the game. So that's pretty much my issue with it. I think they should change it to something else. So yeah, I do not like that change. Then we have the Chemtech Summoner's Rift map change with the camouflage. And I'm completely fine with that. I think it's maybe a little bit too strong. But I don't have an issue with it in the sense that it's too broken. But it can definitely get abused by either team. So it's just whoever team plays more aggressive and gets to that like Chemtech camouflage area first, I think, to look for pickoffs. But yeah, I think that change is fine. Maybe change a little bit, but yeah, I like the idea. Then we have Hextech Drake. So Hextech Drake buff gives 5 ability haste and 5% attack speed per stack. I'm also completely fine with the base Drake buff here. Then we have the Dragon Soul. I'm also completely fine with the kind of like static shiv effect that you'll then get. I think that's completely fine because it doesn't change too much. Sure, it changes the fact that your wave clear is gonna essentially be a little bit better, and when people like stacked up, you're gonna be doing a little bit more damage, but it's nothing too crazy to the point where I think that it's too broken or changes the game completely. So I think that's completely fine. I, on the other hand, don't like the Hextech Rift changes with the teleportation devices, because this basically is the same issue that I had with the blast guns, the fact that it gives a lot of mobility. And the issue is that I have with it is that it removes the difference between playing against a mobile champion and a mobile champion. And this essentially is for any type of champion. Because before, if you were playing against a Bard, you would constantly have to respect the fact that Bard could be roaming because he has his E. Compared to the fact that if you're playing against a Janna, you wouldn't have to respect it as much because the paths that Janna has to take are not gonna be the same as Bard, because Bard can use the E over the wall and then he can flank you and stuff like that. Whereas Janna has to essentially move within the around the walls and not go through them. But with this change, now it's a lot different because now you could come from different angles a lot faster and you can rotate a lot faster, and it essentially removes, or not removes, but it lowers the gap between a mobile champion and an immobile champion, because now they're both kind of mobile and can both walk through walls and flank and get to certain spots really, really fast. And that basically means that you now always have to anticipate that, oh, I could get flanked here, or oh, I don't have vision in this area. Somebody could take the Hextech gate and then teleport behind me and flank me and potentially kill me. And I don't like that, because in order to play the same way without the Hextech gates, you would have to ward either from the possible angles that you could use Hextech gate for flanking you, or essentially put the Hextech put wards at Hextech gate's entrance or exit in order to check if anybody is using them. And that again means that you need to have another ward, which means that you would maybe save your trinket or control ward for, again, warding for the Hextech gate rather than warding for a classic gank like through the river or through Tribush or whatever. So yeah, I like the base buffs on both Drakes. I don't like the Chemtech Soul, but I do like the camouflage area. I'm completely fine with Hextech Soul, but I don't like the Hextech Rift changes. So I like 4 things with the Drakes, and I dislike 2 of them. But let me know what you guys think about the 2 new Drakes, Hextech Drake and Chemtech Drake, and then I'll see you guys in the next video.